Hey beauty lovers and fellow entrepreneurs, I'm Yegi, the owner and founder of Yegi Beauty. Within 5 years of being my own boss, I was able to grow Yegi Beauty into a multi-million-dollar company. This podcast is where I share what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur in the beauty industry. Hello. Welcome back to the Yegi Project. I am excited to talk about social media again today. It is a major topic for entrepreneurs and influencers and brands, but it comes with the risk of self-doubt, burnout, confusion, since it is always changing and there's so many features, especially for small businesses, for what our podcast is focusing on. It could be a lot to handle. For that reason, we have Sharon today from Brands Media Group, and she's going to help us have a conversation about some of these topics to see if we can get some help. And even myself, who's been in business for over 7 years, managing her own company, the social platforms always are evolving. And even right now, I feel like we're going through a transition of where, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to post more? Do we want to post less? Do we want to focus on one platform or two platforms versus on all of them? So currently we are also trying to make a change and shift and try to see if that could work better for us. But for that reason, Sharon, as someone who has dedicated to be an expert on this topic, is going to help us navigate through some of those questions. So we're excited to have her. Please, Sharon, welcome and tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. I just can't wait because, like you said, social media is always changing and there's so many things to say about it. Like I could, it's endless. So I'm Sharon. I was born in Paris, grew up in Montreal, Canada, where I am right now also. And I studied abroad in Tel Aviv and in New York and then back in Paris to do my bachelor and my master's degree. I studied communication, marketing, and fashion. And then I decided to kind of combine my two passions and open a social media agency during COVID, like right when the peak of COVID was starting. And combine both and get clients, in the fashion, beauty. Right? I didn't catch a break, but it's been great.
Good, I'm glad.
And now we work with. Thank you. And I'm so grateful. It's really doing what I love every day and helping brands on social media, doing everything organic. So no paid ads, everything from content creation to really creating fun and engaging content. And I'm back in Montreal now. I'm 26 years old also. So just so much to learn, so much that, I did in 2 years. It's kind of surreal to look back, and tell myself like, wow, I did this at the age of 23 when I launched BMG.
So please go ahead and tell us a little bit about your company and how you got started and what pushed you to follow your passion to do so.
Yeah, so I was always an advocate to, doing what you love and pursuing your dreams and all those things, like very aspiring, very also cliche, but in the end, I really do believe that if you don't do what you love, then it's not sustainable in the long term. So I knew that it would be marketing and fashion that I wanted to do. I just didn't know exactly what it was, but I've always been really into social media and into like the trendy content and, everything that goes on online. I remember when Instagram just launched in 2011, I started posting my outfits and my daily things that I loved. And my mom was like, Sharon, I was only 15. So my mom was like, you should be private. Like, we don't know who's on those platforms. And so I went private, but I keep thinking if I would have kept public this account, then who knows what would have it been, today. So I've always been into it. And during COVID, everyone was asking me for advice on how to shift from physical to digital. So that's when I launched BMG. So Brands Media Group is called Brands Media Group because brand is my last name. So I really wanted to have it inside. And in the end, it works because it's a marketing agency and it just, works fine with it. And we worked with the graphic. I know. And funny story, every time that I'm on a prospect client call or email, they always end with, P.S. You have the best last name for this job.
You do. You really do.
And I mean, yeah, everything kind of escalated from there. We worked with a graphic designer. We worked on the logo, the colors, just a website that was really simple and, kind of ready to use type of thing. And then we got our first 3 clients the first week. So the
Wow.
way that I portrayed, I would say BMG at first was really like a full social media agency working, to do everything content wise and outsourcing the things that we are not doing. But today I feel like we really narrowed it down to really the organic side of things. So there's no more outsourcing really. It's really focusing on making content aesthetic, trending, engaging, really fun for the clients. And we're also a team of 4. So we're 4 women on the team, all in Montreal. We just got an office last month, and we just rebranded our website after 2 years of having the same one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's very exciting. And I love women-owned businesses, especially a team of women that are working hard together to accomplish their dreams. So inspiring to hear about it. Tell us more. How long have you been in business, and what was one of the biggest challenges for you to get started?
So we launched in May 2020, so really the peak of the pandemic. I feel like one of the things that really helped us was that everybody was staying at home for a really long time. Like for the next 3 months or so, everyone was just hibernating at home. So this only worked in our favor in the sense that, a lot was happening online and digitally on Instagram especially. And I feel like one of our challenges was, and it would be really for more about me, it's thinking about the future really, but I didn't know what would happen with BMG. So I kind of lived like moment to moment, day to day, because it was pandemic and I was staying at home. But I was always really concerned of like, okay, what's going to happen when things pick up again and we go back to real life? Like, is this going to be an actual business that I'm going to keep? Everything happened so quick and so like a snowball effect that I didn't have time to really think about those things. And then it just evolved to be what it is today. But it was kind of a challenge to really keep everything, I would say, balanced and organized post-pandemic.
Isn't it amazing though, once you actually take the leap and get started, how things kind of do work together and end up working out? I always love hearing those stories.
I know. Well, I think it's about like trusting the universe and, trusting like, okay, you're going to take it day by day. You're going to do your thing, do what you love. And then, whatever happens, happens. So really thinking like this is out of my control and just letting things flow as they should and with no pressure at all above it all. It's just, whatever's meant to be, it will be.
Exactly. And I think it's really hard to get to that point. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but really working on that mentality of having that, okay, work your hardest, put in as much work as possible, wake up every day, do what you have to, and then just trust in the process for you to get to where you need to get. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, we just pivot and go in a new direction, but we just kind of have to keep going, right? I think that's like the key to success, is to just keep pushing and not overthinking of the future of what's going to happen, but just really give it your all every single day.
Yeah, there were times where business was so slow, in the like a year after, even just a few months ago. And I was thinking, I was like, should I stop this? Should I go back to a corporate job? Because who knows, maybe this would be better. And it's what you said. It's exactly what you said. It's consistency, is staying true to, what you love and not giving up, because then things pick up again and it's kind of not the end of it. So just, keep on pushing and keep on going.
One other question for you, starting out new, and you're still fairly a new business for the, I guess, a little bit new, but having people trust you in order to take over or advise them on social media, that could be a huge challenge when you're starting out. Now, what did you do to overcome that, or how did you kind of convince the clients that, hey, I'm the right person to help you grow your social media? Did you have to do some stuff for free? Did you have to build a portfolio? How did you go about that challenge?
I love this question. So first of all, because I traveled a lot and I met a lot of people, through my studies and through my travels, I really got the credibility, I would say, and the trust of a few people that we ended up working with that I had met during my travels. And I think this is a really good lesson of, networking and keeping in touch with people, but also to really be kind and genuine and to just be your true self. And in the end, that kind of follows the next thing that I'm going to say is that when you're true to yourself and you just are who you are, the people that are going to want to work with you and really get who you are and it's a good fit, it's going to work out. So right now it's like, sometimes we get prospect clients and it's a vibe. Like we really vibe. There's good energy. There's good intentions. They really get boundaries. They get me. I get them. And when it's like that, I love working with people, that are they just get who I am and that it works like that. And that's how they also trust me. And there's other people who are a bit more vigilant, which I get because it's, it's a lot of money they're investing and everything. But I will always put my clients first. And that's what I always tell them on the first call. And they just know that if they do sign with us, it's going to be like the top priority is their happiness and they come first before everything. So we really, and they know this since the start, we put them over everything else that we have. That also means myself being involved because often, social media agencies and, there's different ways that structures are depending on other social media agencies. But my structure is that I'm really involved in the process with the client and their socials. So even though we have dedicated community managers that are going to work with the clients, I'm always going to be here on the group chats, on the Zoom call, if I can at least, like I'm going to be on all of them. And they love that because the first call is with me. And so, it's hard when like you have a first call with someone and then they give you out to someone else. So I always make sure to be there no matter what.
That's great. Honestly, that's one of the benefit of working with a smaller social media group is because you're going to get that dedication and a lot of one-on-one attention from the company compared to working with the huge agencies. That's why I'm a big fan of small business, honestly. I think there's a lot more heart and love into it. That's very exciting.
100%. And it's all about that.
It really is. And it makes it so much more fun for you to be connected and actually see something through, see your clients grow with you, right? That's the best part. And that's what I love to see with my students too. When I was teaching the eyelash extensions, I still teach here and there, but I have other educators who teach. But seeing them get the certificate, get to the point where they open up their own salons or they have their own product lines. It's just really exciting to like see that transition. So that's the best part I want to highlight to people with doing something that you love is because you're going to put your heart into it and you're going to see it through. Now talking about a little bit more about the challenges of starting a business. Now, financials are always the biggest factor that people are scared about, or they have fear that, oh, am I going to make enough money? Is it going to be stable? The ups and downs. So what has your experience been with that?
So I will start off with that I am so, grateful and lucky and fortunate that financial wise, I was able to start off living at home because I had to go back home during COVID. So I had no rent to pay. I had, my family was like supporting me and was here with me. So when I started the business, everything that we were earning was really going towards BMG. And I'm just a firm believer in working in teams. So I got the first team member to come on the team literally 2 months in starting the business as a very part-time role. But still, there was someone and I was still able to, pay that person. And I really believe that paying the people that work for you is so important because, for example, in France, they do 2 months free internship. And, when sometimes they do have the budget to pay, I really feel like every work should be valued and rewarded financially, but also, of course, with kindness and words and all that. But then as, I went back to Paris after COVID and it was hard financially because everything was in euro. I was getting everything in Canadian dollars. So I had to really just organize myself with those finances. Now that I moved back to Canada, everything is more set and just well put together. However, there is always, in the back of my mind, okay, well, tomorrow there could be 2 clients leaving and then what's going to happen? So the really important thing in this case is to always think ahead and always try to get new clients for, the next few months, because you never know what's going to happen. Especially today, we're really living in kind of a financial crisis that has started and is gonna go on and on for a bit. So, we've seen clients close down their business because of COVID. And when that happens, we can't control it. They don't have the finances anymore. So we need to always be on the lookout for new brands that would want to work with us. It's also great though, because it's very stimulating. And we're always, and my team, Alana, is the... Exactly. We have no choice, because with no clients, we don't live, right? So we need to not only find the right clients, but also make sure that they really do need the help.
So what are some of the things you guys do to get new clients? Because that is also a challenge for any business always, right? We always want to acquire new clients, because old clients, even though they can be continuously giving us business, like you said, over time, it evolves, where you do need a good balance of continuing and new clients. So what are some of the things that you guys do to try to get new clients?
So first, our current clients, when we sign clients, it's a 3-month contract. So at least that gives us, time to, see, okay, after 2 months, are they going to continue? If not, we're really going to push and get new clients. And to get new clients, I'm so lucky, Alana, if she listens to this, she's our growth manager, and she's the one in charge of acquiring and prospecting and finding new clients. So we kind of go together, we look at, a sheet, and we add in businesses, and then we really look at, okay, do they need help? What would their needs be? And then we send a little DM. And it might seem very aggressive in the sense that it's like, okay, we're messaging them if they need help. But in the end, it's like, we never know. They might need help, and they might not know us. And because of that message, they hear about us. So the way we do it is very...
all for that. That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
It's a modern way of cold calling, right? Sending DMs.
Exactly. So and we've actually been doing a lot of cold calls that we've been going outside in the streets of Montreal, on streets that have a lot of businesses, and we've been giving away our cards. And it was so funny to do it, because it's so untraditional of today's, of our age group, We do everything online. So being in the street and giving the card, it felt so good, and at the same time, it felt so weird.
Yes, but those old school marketing strategies also still work. And honestly, we're doing it ourselves too again now. We haven't done anything physical for years, like 5 years, I want to say, but we are going to try to do something again right now when we have an event next month in August, to do a little lash networking event. We're also going to go give out flyers to the local businesses, and there's no going wrong, sometimes a face-to-face really gives a different bond.
Yeah, and just in general, giving your card, you never know, they might keep it, give it to someone, hear of someone that needs social media help, and then give it to them. So it's like putting yourself out there.
They have a physical item to think of you. It's old school marketing 101.
Yes, very important.
Yes. Well, since we're talking about your process, take us through it. So let's say I'm a client and I'm interested. So I know I need some help with social media, but I'm not too sure what I need help with. I reach out to you and I say, hey, Sharon, or Brands Marketing Group, I need help. Where do we start?
So the first thing would be a discovery call. We always love to, see the vibe with the client, what it is they're looking for, also who they are as a person. Personality says a lot about the type of work that, they want on the long end. And then after the discovery call, we usually draft a proposal. We send our brand book so they can see a bit of the work that we've done. And then the best thing about all of this is that we're super flexible in terms of packaging. So if someone wants less of, less reels, more stories, all that, then that's really not a problem. We really adapt. And then once everything is confirmed, they just sign a contract and we start the work. We also always, show them what it is that we can do. And, so they have like a visual idea of what it is we're envisioning. But it's always mixing the educational with the fun. So that's what we are pitching to them all the time. Because in the end, social media for business, it needs to be like, okay, what is your business? But also, let's have fun with it. Let's just have fun on Instagram and on social media platforms.
Question for you. So are you guys the ones who's creating the content, or are you advising the businesses what they need to create, because sometimes that could be challenging for a business too, because I would think, okay, for me, how would somebody like you work with a company that has, let's say, physical products, or in our case, it takes some time for you to get to know a company in order for you to have their vision as well. How has that process been, and has that been a challenge for you guys, or how did you overcome that fear in businesses? Because I could see myself having that kind of, hesitation at first.
For sure. So that's why we have different packages. If a client wants to, let's say, do everything themselves and don't want to give us the full, the full Instagram account on our hands, that's also fine. We create the content and then we send it to them. We've done consultations like that. So it's like I come in, I really tell them what they should change, what they should work on. Then they could decide to do the content themselves with the guidance that I gave them. They could also decide for us to do the content and, post it themselves. And then after those two packages, there comes the social media management packages, which is for us to do, everything on the platform. And when it's physical product, actually, it's so much fun because they send us the product and we shoot everything. So right now, for example, we are working with a tea company in New York, and she sent us a gua sha, a jade roller, and then all of those herbal tea, good for the skin and all that. So we have so much fun creating reels, and at the same time, we have incredible fun drinking the tea. And even it was funny because last time we made reels and we had like 5 cups of different tea laid out, and then we were done filming and we just drank everything because we were like, we didn't want to throw it away.
Nice.
But that's also, I don't know, it's such a beautiful thing because it's social media. It has to happen really fast. So the clients really also need, in a way, to trust us. So they just send us everything and trust us from there. And it's been really working in our favor, up until now. We've been doing really incredible job, and that's all due to our incredible community managers on the team.
That's very exciting. Well, I'm so happy for you guys, and I'm glad that it's been working well, because I could see from a brand's point of view that it could be challenging. But like you said, if somebody's gonna bring you on, they do need to put that trust in you to at least give you couple of months. You said initially the 3-month contracts to see what you could do. And do you guys use analytics and some sort of charts to show them the growth that you've done with their accounts? Because that could also be it's very hardcore data. Look, you started off with 10 followers, now you're at 100 followers, for example.
100%. Yes, numbers are so important. And that's also why we do 3 months contract, because you can't really have, enough data after, let's say, 30 days. When you have 90 days worth of data, then you could really, really see and track. So what we do is that we have templates already set up for each of our clients. And every Monday, so once a week, we go in their Instagram account and we write down all the important numbers that we have planned to write about. And then we analyze that. So, okay, what worked, what didn't, what would we, do more about? And it's just such a fun way to also see, okay, we did really good on this reels. Now let's do it even better.
Awesome. Great job. Props to you guys for taking it on and really making something you love into a successful business where you can earn money and also already have your own office. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Do you have any interesting or any inspiring client stories to share with us?
Oh, yes, I do. Let me try to think. Yeah, so, okay. It's a really funny story. So, when I launched BMG in May 2020, I was back in Canada then because of COVID, but I was going to go back to Paris in July because I was living there at the time. And in July, I had an internship that I had signed, and it was for this really big fashion trade show, the biggest one in Paris, Italy, London during Fashion Week. And I was going to do their social media. I had signed with them before even starting, BMG. So in July, when I went back to Paris and I started the internship, we had like 3 clients and I had someone working with me at BMG, but I just wanted to go full time. And I felt so bad, telling the internship bye, because when I commit to something, I want to do it fully and 100%. So I stayed and I stayed and I stayed. And 3 weeks later, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I spoke to the manager and I told her, listen, I was crying. I was like, I'm so sorry to do this, but I have this business on the side and there's 3 clients and it's working. So if I don't go full force, I don't know what's gonna, happen. And she was like, between you and I, like, do your thing, like, go do your business.
Yeah, that's actually a good lesson for everybody to hear. It truly, you have to know sometimes when to quit on something or when to put an end to it or stop it. It's not really a failure or you feeling like you quit. It's actually just, again, pivoting and taking on your new direction that you need to. So I think sometimes really closing one door does open different doors, and we need to not be afraid to do it. And you definitely shared a good story with us that proves that.
But wait, I'm not even done. So it gets better. So then they let me go. I went full force and the business was really picking up. 6 months later, this fashion trade show calls me and they go, we need your social media help. So can we hire your company to do our social media? So we worked with them. Like, it was like a full circle moment.
Well, now you get paid to do what you were doing for free.
Exactly. So it was, not only a better pay, but also, wow, like they really trusted me in 3 weeks. And I even quit the internship early and they still really liked me enough that they would work with us for their social media. So we worked with them for a few months actually. And, we kind of work today, like kind of mission wise. If they ever need something, I'm always there. And, it's such a cool like a full circle moment. And again, the lesson here is trusting your intuition, but also really keeping in touch with the people that you come across in your life, no matter if it's at work, if it's, 1 second or your friend or just anyone, you never know.
Yeah, I think networking is really key. And I think in now's days and age, a lot of people don't have really good networking skills. We're just in the moment and we're going and going. So this is a good reminder for myself and for everybody too, that we need to take our time, no matter how busy we are, and really keep your connections, really network, and really don't take people for granted, right? Even if it's just for a moment and you expressing yourself like you did, in order for them to understand, hey, I'm not quitting just to quit. I'm human. This is what's going on. See, it didn't work for the negative. You were transparent and it did go full circle and worked for the best. So I think that's really, really a good practice for everybody to have. Everybody is human. Let's be transparent. Let's be understanding of each other and keep in touch and network. Thank you for sharing that.
For sure. And I mean, it's not really like a client success story. We have a lot of these also, but I felt like this one was, I don't know, it's just like a really unique story and just so crazy.
It really is. And it just kind of gives you extra motivation to keep going, right? You did something right. So social media is always evolving and changing. What are some of the new trends that you've seen that we need to kind of be on top of as business owners?
So first of all, video is the biggest thing right now. Instagram is actually in the middle of testing, new newsfeed, and the new newsfeed looks like there won't be any square photos anymore. So all your photos would need to be kind of portrait mode, or else, people won't really be able to see it in the best UX experience. But Reels and, just videos in general is the one that you would need to push the most. And I feel like it's kind of great actually, because I feel like 5 years ago, Instagram was very curated, was very kind of like perfect looking. And now it's more of like, okay, let's just do videos and be ourselves and think less of, the actual presets and content that we're posting. And the other thing that Instagram has just launched, and Adam Mosseri, the, Instagram brain behind Instagram, didn't warn us about this new feature. He just kind of put it out there for us. But the little notes that you can see now on your DM.
What is that? I actually got a notification about that update. I didn't get a chance to really look into it. I do have somebody who helps me with my Instagram as well. So I personally haven't fully seen it. It'd be great to know more about it.
Yeah, so think like BBM status and Facebook status with like a mix of Twitter. This is what Instagram have done now. So if you want to write, let's say, I don't know, that you have new opening for your, your lashes company, or that you have a sale, or, you know, ask someone a question like, what's your favorite song of the moment? Then you can leave these little status without posting a photo, and it's going to go in the DM page of all of your followers who follow you back. And then people can just answer, that note. So it's kind of a quick interactive way of speaking with your audience that doesn't include a picture or a video, and it's not on story as well. I think it's so great.
That's very, it's very different. And I don't know if as a consumer, as a business, it's very great for me. As a consumer, I don't know if I'm going to like that. Am I going to get too many messages? But we'll see. We'll see how it works. I guess you can choose which ones you turn on and off, so you can know who you want to hear from. But Instagram is definitely evolving, and I think I like that note of focusing on video right now, because we have noticed a lot too. If you go and video, specifically reels for Instagram, I notice anytime there's a reel, it does do a lot more interaction compared to just a regular video post or a photo post. So definitely, I think they are trying to have people push that more. I don't know, maybe because they're trying to also compete with TikTok, but it's very, it's very crazy to know all these new features. Is there any other advice on any of the other social platforms that you would give to our listeners as far as new and evolving changes?
Yeah, so it's what you said it best. Instagram is kind of on the lookout with their competitors, TikTok. And I think actually it's not like one or the other. It's, as a business owner, as a consumer, using both in different ways is a really good strategy to take, because the more you're out there, the more you have, brand awareness, and the more people are just going to reach you one way or another. So for TikTok, for example, it's best to really just really, really be yourself, and you don't have to do all you can. It's a good mix, but to do the aesthetic and also to do really funny, humorous, fun TikToks that don't take long to do. Whereas on Instagram, it's always a bit more aesthetic because there's a newsfeed, and that newsfeed it's a bit more curated than TikTok. However, I do feel like once again, it's changing and we're going towards a less curated one. But I think, people are always scared when there's a new platform that comes on, because they're like, oh my God, how am I going to use it different than the other? And actually, it's a great thing, and it's another way of people to discover you. So using it, could only be to your advantage and add to what you already are building. So I love Instagram, and Instagram will always be my number one platform. But now that we're on TikTok and, Pinterest and LinkedIn and Twitter also even, I see the benefits of outreaching and just being on all of the platforms.
Now, let's just focus on Instagram and TikTok. Now, for your clients, would you recommend them to post the same content on both platforms, or how do you guys work with your clients as far as different content on different platforms?
So, for example, we work with a talent management agency, so they are in charge of influencers collaboration and just talent, contracts and all that. So on Instagram, we're going to share all of these news, like the collaborations, the new talent that we're signing. And it's actually a lot of pictures. We haven't really posted videos yet, because the goal for them is not to go viral. It's really to have a portfolio of their work. And then on TikTok, we're going to post the videos of the talent from Instagram. So, it's a different way and a different take of doing it. And there's a million ways that we could do it. For them, because of their specific goals, this is the strategy. And then we're also doing LinkedIn for them. And on LinkedIn, we're going to post more about this field and this world's updates and news about creators and about content creators and all that. So depending on what the goal of the client is, we're going to tweak and adapt on the different platforms.
That's great, honestly. And it's a good reminder for our listeners as well. There is no one way of doing social media. The main thing is be yourself and really just have a presence on how many ever platform you can get. I think that's a simple summary. And for some people that may be frustrating, because some people want like an exact to-do list of what to do. But I think that's why there's companies like yours where they can work with and really come up with a strategy for each platform. So that's one thing I always tell to my business owners as well. As a business owner, you should really just be good at growing your business, and that's
and that means like hiring people to help you, because there's no way you can do everything yourself. So keep that in mind and know that it's okay to get help in the areas that you're not the best at. And that's what I've done. Like social media, I know I could be great at, but that's something that I had to kind of give away and have people help me with, because they just don't have time to be active on there all the time as much as I would want to be. So I have my presence there, but then I do have people who are helping me post and create the content. And I think I still need help with it, like it's always evolving. So keep that in mind as small business owners.
When you do stay true to yourself and, people know you offline and then they see you online and they're like, okay, yeah, this is really the same person, then there is this growth. And even for businesses, putting your face in front, the image of who you are in front and online, it's just such a plus. It's a bonus. It just works in your favor like that.
That's exciting. Well, I can't wait to see everything you guys are doing, honestly, with your business and your platforms. I started kind of checking you guys out as we were able to, meet you. I'm even more excited to see all the things that you're going to do. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I love your personality, your energy, and everything you're doing.
Thank you.
And another takeaway I do want to tell to our listeners too is those of you that have the ability to stay home, save money, and really like push, this is the age, this is the time where you really should do that before you're gonna have your own mortgage, your own family, your own kids, and a lot more responsibility, because it does get a lot more challenging. So don't waste time. Time is valuable. And really like try to set yourself up for success if you have that advantage of being home or getting help from family, even that. So that's one thing I would really tell all the listeners is, this is your time. Don't wait. The life does not wait for you, and things aren't going to get easier. I think as we get older, things actually get harder. From my own experience, we have less energy and more responsibilities. So although it is not impossible, I think anybody at any age can get anything started. But to be truly real with you, the younger you start, whatever your passion is, the more likely you're gonna live a longer, happier life. So this is your cue to, follow your dreams. So let's go back to our interview. So what is, we talked about all the benefits of starting your business and how great everything is, but in reality, what would you say the worst part about being an entrepreneur is?
Oh my God, there's so many things. And now it sounds like, everything I said is like, oh my God, she was lying the whole time. But I am not lying. It's just that, people need to know that, it's very glamorized. Oh my God, I can't say that word. It's glamorized. Oh my God,
I can't even say
it. It's all glam on, it's all glam online, and it could seem very, aesthetically pleasing to be your own boss and you get that freedom and everything. But it's very tough because, first of all,
everyone.
You need to find a schedule that works for you. And it's not for everyone. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think, it is not for everyone. And if you feel really like a pressure where you can't do it anymore, then you should reconsider. And it's okay if you start something and then you realize that you're not meant for it. And, it could pick up and then you end up selling it or having someone else as the CEO and you can stay the creative director for it, for example. I know for me, it works because I'm very stimulated with everything there is to do, and I'm like this. I need to move on from task to task to task, and I love managing and I love growing a team, and I don't see myself doing something else. But it is also really tough because of life-work balance and, telling yourself, okay, well, when does my day end? Because this is your baby you're talking about. You could work on it forever and ever. And at the same time, you don't want to resent it, because if you don't take a break, if you don't take a step back, you're going to start hating it. And so for me, I realized that I just needed to, at 5 p.m., this is my time. I close my computer no matter what. And you know what? I realized? Everything still gets done and people wait. And if nothing is urgent, if people really need me, they're going to call me a million times and I'm always available. But then the rest I can do the next morning and it's totally fine. So I feel like this is one of the challenges. I feel like another one is you kind of want to please everyone, especially in like social media, and you want to help as many people as possible. And in the end, that's my goal. But you have to learn how to say no, because sometimes clients are not a good fit, and you can sense those from the first discovery meeting. Like, maybe it's because we're women. I don't know. I've been talking about this a lot with friends and everything, but we have like we have a really strong instinct and intuition. And I feel like we really need to listen to our bodies and trust it, because I've done deals where, I thought, okay, it's going to get better with time, and it really didn't. And I had sensed it since the beginning. And it's not that, we did bad work or the client was a bad client. It's just that it wasn't a good fit. They just needed another agency. Exactly. So I feel like now it's a challenge that I have proudly overcome, and I know how to say no, and I know where boundaries are set, and, what is good for the company. But I feel like it's hard because it is your company. So you need to dissociate yourself from the business. It's like, you are not your business. If someone is upset or doesn't like what you're doing, they're not mad at you. They're mad.
And
They just don't like it, and it's okay.
Personal issues when people are unhappy with something. It's not even the work that you did. They might be going through a hard time in life, and no matter what you do, they're still going to be unhappy. So that's a very good lesson to learn. And I remember learning that. It's been a while now. I haven't thought about it, but in the beginning, I do remember feeling so sad anytime one client would even a tiny bit be dissatisfied. I would go out of my way. I would be so upset. I would put in so much time and energy to try to please them. But then at the end of the day, like, nothing mattered. And I wasted a lot of time and energy.
It's because we care so much. So it's a good thing, because if we didn't, then we would just, be also mean and rude and be like, okay, well, figure it out. Like, no, we care. So we want to put our time and energy, like you said, and go full force on it. But we also need to, where is our limit? When do we get a break as well?
That is, I think, the key to try to figure out that limit and that boundary. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. These are the X, Y, and Z things that I'm going to do extra. But if that also doesn't help, I'm done, moving on. Let's talk about social media burnout and self-doubt, because those are two big issues with social media that I know a lot of our listeners can learn from or be interested in. So let's see, for a social media burnout, right? So I think for social media burnout, a lot of times what happens is we want to be so active, but we get stuck and we don't know what to do, or we look at the feed, we get stressed out, and there's so many people doing so many things. We don't know, like, if I should keep going. We're like, okay, I'm just going to shut down. I'm done. So what would you advise for people who are at that level with the social media burnout?
I feel like if you do feel like a burnout, take a step back and maybe even don't look at Instagram for a few days. It could take just 2 days for you to kind of recenter and reground yourself into what it is you want to be doing on social. I know for me, I never ever had a burnout, because I use it in a way that it's like, when I want to use it, I use it. When I don't, I don't. I post whatever I want. I don't overthink it. So I feel like I don't know what the reason of the burnout could be, but if it is because you're overthinking every single thing that you want to post, I mean, no wonder you're going to burn out. It's so draining. I feel like you need to, using social media and having fun with it is like my whole motto with social media. Basically, it's just, have fun with the platforms that you're using, and
take a break when you need to take a break. If you don't want to post for a whole week, don't post for a whole week. If you have nothing that you feel inspired to post, don't feel like the pressure to do so, because I also feel like anytime I've in the past pushed myself to post something just to post it, it didn't do so well, or I was still unhappy with it. So I think that's key. It's like, it's okay to take a break from it. Even if you want to take a week off from it, you can get back to it and be more motivated to use it if you feel burned out. So how about self-doubt? As a business owner, have you ever experienced self-doubt, especially in the social media world? That could be so easy because you see most people portray the best versions of themselves or their businesses online, and that can make other people or other businesses intimidated and have more self-doubt. So what's your advice, or have you experienced this yourself?
I definitely did. It was actually back in November. I was at my lowest, I would say. And what really saved me, I actually have the book right next to me. It's this book called The Imposter Cure. I don't know if you've ever heard about it.
What is it called again?
Yeah, so it's called The Imposter Cure, and it's how to stop feeling like a fraud and escape the mind trap of the imposter syndrome. And it's by Dr. Jessamine Hyberd. And it really was my Bible I did a lot of work on myself when I was feeling all these, self-doubts. And it talks all about how failure is an essential part of the success and how discomfort is actually a trigger for self-growth. And just how compassion needs to overcome like self-criticism. So I read it and I was doing all the work inside of the book, and it took like 2 months in. After I finished reading it, we signed 3 new clients, and I was just the best manager, my best self, that I could be. So I feel like reading good books like this really helps. Also, if you can, I have a business coach, for example, and that really, really helps me just, if I have any doubts on anything, sometimes it's just an outside perspective that helps me, get the guidance that I need to.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I love that you mentioned business coach, because that's my passion. That's what I'm also doing on the side now for fun, besides running my own business, because it does really help to have somebody be like, snap out of it. You're doing fine. Here's what you need to do. Stop overthinking it. You can take action and get to wherever you want to get, instead of sitting and stressing about something. But books is definitely been my go-to too. I think anytime that I feel like I've been stuck in the past with my business or in life, I've just kind of taken a break and read something or listened to something motivational, even podcasts or YouTube motivational videos that really like helps kind of give you the key points to help you snap out of that, right? And it does take a lot of work on yourself. We need to always continuously be working on ourselves, and that will push you to be more successful and constantly more motivated as you go through the process of being an entrepreneur or a business owner. I think what you shared is really, really valuable, because everybody goes through that. And I want to say some people don't talk about it or don't mention it, but even the most successful people go through those self-doubt moments. I bet you, like, even I don't know, all the top billionaires self-doubt on a decision that they're going to make, and they need an advising team or a coach to be like, no, you're fine.
For sure.
Go for it.
For sure. I feel like what's really comforting is that we are not alone. So it's like, even when you do have those horrible, and bad feelings, telling yourself, okay, there's other people that right now are literally feeling the same thing that I am. And that's why I also share it on Instagram when I'm having a bad day, when I'm having, those like self-doubt moments. I always share it on my stories, because I get really good words of just encouragement from my friends, but also people that say like, I feel the same way today. And I'm like, wow,
yeah,
okay, like,
great. It helps a lot to feel like we're not alone, and that we have a support from other people out there who are going through the same thing, and that it's going to be okay. It's temporary. I think that's also something we need to remember. If we're going through a negative part in our life or in our business, just know that it's temporary, and instead of focusing on it, because sometimes when you focus too much on the negative, it just kind of a downfall. You keep going down and down and down. Instead, know that it's temporary. And I don't know, my key advice for that would be just stop thinking about it and do something, like a physical action item. For you was reading the book and working on yourself, or somebody maybe like going on a vacation or running, whatever that something is, take physical action. And I think that's going to help turn things around, instead of you focusing on that self-doubt or that negative point in your life or your business. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, my last question for you as our closing topic, if you can do it all over again, what would you change, or what would you do when you're just starting out? And also, where can people find you?
So I will start with the easy question first. People can find me on Instagram at Sharon Brand, Brand, and the business account is at Brands Media Group. And again, on my highlight on Instagram, there is a highlight of book recommendations. So if anyone wants to read more books on self-growth and, as a business owner, and you think there's a lot of them in there. And I feel like if I would start again, the different thing that I would do is actually just take more time for myself right from the beginning, because I was working a lot at the beginning more than I am now. And when I look back, I was really stressed about things that in the end ended up working just fine and that were done and that I didn't need to, look over twice. So I would really just take a step back and just, tell myself like, okay, this will work. You just have to continue and not stop, and it's all going to work in your favor.
I think we all go through that as new business owners. And although people will tell us don't overthink things, it's going to be fine, I think everybody needs to find their own journey through it, and it'll be fine for real.
Yes. It makes you stronger. It's like whatever happens, whatever challenges it is, you just come off stronger in the end.
Now, do you have any last words of encouragement before we close?
Yes, I think if you have a project in mind, if there's something you really want to be doing, that you really love, that you're passionate about, then, just go for it. Like, don't overthink, oh, is this name good? Is this color good? Just, start it. And then the little details, they come afterwards. Like, the website and all those things, it can always be changed and just, tangible. But the idea you have, that fire inside of you, if you're really feeling it and you feel like it is a good idea, then like jump right in and just do it. And, everything else will kind of like follow.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sharon, for being on our podcast today. It was such a pleasure meeting you and talking to you. We'll link all her information below so you guys can go find her and follow her through and see if you need any help with your social media. She is available. And yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, let us know below. But again, thank you, Sharon. Pleasure meeting you. Hope to work with you soon again in the future.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.